So today we're going to talk about fasteners. Specifically, we're going to be talking about nuts. Okay. Now, every now and again, you're going to run into a situation where a nut is not going to want to stay where you tell it to. Now, there are options. So you can get lock washers, which, the ones that have nylon inserts, those really don't do you a lot of favors oftentimes. The real thing is that, now they make this stuff Loctite, okay? And what you would do is you would put this on the inside of the threads, and then you would tighten it down. Red Loctite is evil. Most of the time, if you think that you need it, you don't. They make it in red and blue. Red requires, to remove it, you have to heat the thing up to 450 degrees for 5 minutes, and then maybe you have a shot at removing it. Don't ever use red Loctite. For this, we absolutely positively have to make sure that this can never come off ever. It's on a rising gate valve, and it's causing all kinds of trouble. So, what we're going to do, because we absolutely positively want to make sure that this never comes out, what we're going to do is not only are we going to put red Loctite on the threads on the inside, we're going to drill it and pin it. So drilling and pinning is just what it sounds like. You're going to take a drill bit, and you're going to measure out just how much you need to penetrate the nut, but then you're going to have to measure how much thread you have the ability to drill into. The deeper the better, okay? And additionally, you don't just want to drill one, you want to drill, at least 3. This, because we're working with really narrow clearances, we're only going to be able to penetrate about 1/8 of an inch on the inside. These are what you call roll pins, okay? Each one of these has a little bit of a taper on the end, and they're actually made out of, rolled steel. And so what you do is you find the location that you want to drill. Once you tighten this down, the location that you want to drill, you're going to use a punch, and you're going to make a mark. You use a hammer, you're going to make this mark. Then you get to use your drill, and you're going to drill right there at that mark so that it doesn't travel. And you're going to try and keep this as straight as you possibly can. And then you drill in until you hit your drill stop. Then you're going to use a pin punch. Well, first you're going to use a pair of needle nose pliers or something, and you drive it into the hole, one of your roll pins. Then you use the pin punch to sink it all the way in. Then you're in business. Get 3 of those in there, plus red Loctite, and you're guaranteed this thing is never coming off ever. So now we get to deal with the rising stem gate valve, and we'll go over there here in just a minute. So this is the valve in question that's stuck. Now the threads on it are peculiar because here's my wheel. Now watch this. Now I tighten it, but do you see what direction to open? It's counterclockwise. Spin it counterclockwise and it comes up. So there is a nut that goes on top of here, but the same problem. This catches the nut and the whole thing then comes up. So what we're going to do is put this all the way down. Then we're going to pin that nut. So we've got to do 2 things now. Number 1, we've got to clean our threads. So you're going to want to use brake cleaner. Don't get the no chlorine stuff. Get the cancer-causing stuff. It's the best. And then you're going to want to spray these threads down. You want to be careful not to damage any of these gaskets. So you're going to want to take a shop towel, hold it around while you're spraying the threads down. And then after the threads have had time to soak, you're just going to wipe them like so. Okay? Now, supposing these things are clean, also clean the inside of all the threads that are going to have mating surfaces. All right? All mating surfaces. So now we're going to make sure that this is the right side up, and we're going to put it on. Because now we have to measure. Before you do anything that is completely undoable, fellas, ladies, all of the above, you want to make sure that you measure. There is no room for mistakes here. Alright, so now we tighten down our nut. We're going to make sure that this is completely flush with the bolt that we're mating up against, and we're going to use a depth gauge. Okay. You pick these up at the hardware store for like $1, maybe $2. There we are. And they give us measurements in 30 seconds of an inch, which is great. So now we're going to stick our gauge on here. What you're going to do is you're going to move it until you're halfway, ideally, into the intermediate mating surface, and you're just going to leave that gauge right there. So then we take a reading off of the gauge. This is a pain. There we are. So we are 11 seconds is what that's reading. Okay, this is great. Now we're then going to take this nut off. By the way, I don't know how to emphasize the importance of this enough, fellas, ladies, everybody. Make sure that you're wearing eye protection when you're spraying nasty chemicals, when you're drilling. It's all bad. You don't want to lose your eyesight over this. All right? Okay. Okay, now my thread locker has been applied to the threads on the wheel and on the nut. Now we have to wait for it to set up, so I'm going to go eat a very late dinner and come back, and then we'll drill it and pin it. Okay, now after having carefully set your drill stop, you're going to start drilling into the side there. And as you see, we've got ourselves a couple of real nice little pins in there. Like I said, the easiest way to make sure you don't over penetrate is to buy a pin that's no longer than what you need. That way if you drill a little bit deeper, who cares? Like, yeah, okay, so you ruined a little bit of thread, whatever. But at least the pin isn't going to over penetrate. Follow? Alright, let's see what this does. I'm going to drive this in the rest of the way. We'll be good. Alright, I wanted to show you guys the end result before I forgot. So now if you notice, everything works exactly the way that it's supposed to. This is what pinning does. Just got to be careful with your measurements. Drill slow. But now it works. And that's never, ever, ever coming off. Ever. So, thanks for watching.